Manchester United getting knocked out of the FA Cup.
First and foremost, Brendan Rodgers. If there's any top jobs going out there, this guy has to be front of the queue right now. We'll talk England then. What we got? I think Gareth mentioned about 6 or 7 players, the under-21s, Max Aaron's right back, etc. Before we even mentioned Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Bamford.
He must be absolutely spitting feathers right now. Look at the talent we're talking about, and you want to play on a defensive. Are you mad?
Yeah.
Are you mad? But when you're a Harry Kane, doing what he does, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, you need the platform to win a trophy. I'm scared that he's not going to win nothing.
Yeah. You already know the vibes. Looking in with the guys. Stephen, Rio and Joe. I got tuned into 5. You know the vibes, you know the guys, you know the trio. You know it's Steve, you know it's Joe, you know it's Rio.
Yes, everybody, welcome back to Vibe with 5. Me, Stephen Howson, we've got Joel and we've got Rio. Cheers to all those who watched the Sadio Barahino interview that we did, and if you've not seen it, make sure to go check it after the show. And also, cheers to everyone who has watched the Ruud van Nistelrooy interview as well. That was an absolute banger. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Make sure you're hitting that notification so you don't miss when we're going live. We've got some unbelievable guests lined up, as I'm sure you can appreciate. Rio, take it away.
Yeah, listen, I just want to give a massive shout out. I've got to read this name, yeah? No offense taken, please. Bashushan Mahamouni. Because, listen, this guy helped us out with our timestamps. Great guy. During our last video, a few difficulties. He came and helped us. We appreciate it massively. So keep helping us, man. We really, really do appreciate it. Also, we'll be shouting out a few of you in our comment sections in the end of the video. So stay with it. Keep commenting. And make sure the most important thing, keep subscribing.
With them notifications. Guys, we're back. I'm loving these reviews now, man. Obviously, it's been a very, very, should we say, difficult weekend.
You told me you was wearing shades today.
Wait. No, because you know where I'm going with this. That's why you're trying to cut me off. It's been a difficult weekend for Manchester United getting knocked out of the FA Cup, the Forever Arsenal Cup, right? Losing to Leicester 3-1. I need to hear your thoughts about this, guys.
It was a bad weekend, man. I have to be honest. Like, I really had high hopes of us doing well. I mean, Leicester are a good team, don't get me wrong. First and foremost, Brendan Rodgers. If there's any top jobs going out there, this guy has to be front of the queue right now. Anybody is getting rid of their manager in the top teams, especially in the Premier League, this guy has to be the first name at the top of that queue, because what he's doing with this Leicester team, what he's done previously, the way he builds these teams, and another massive, massive factor, the way he builds individuals. His recruitment is great. I think he's a phenomenal manager, and I think he's someone who's going to be around for years, and he's just waiting for that opportunity to come at a top club. No disrespect to Leicester, but one of the big boys, he will go and do great things. I have no doubts. But and listen, they done Manchester United. They done us. They did. They were the better team. Man United I think Ollie hit the nail on the head. Man United didn't have the spark. No spark in their team at the weekend. And the questions get asked, should he have rested? With an international break coming where there'll be a little bit more longer time between games maybe, was it a good opportunity to just keep playing them and then they can rest during this next week coming? It shows you how much we rely on Bruno Fernandes massively. He was missed. And we just didn't perform, man. Okay, we looked leggy. They looked like a team that had the bit between their teeth. And you see the draw come out. You get Southampton in the semi-finals. Do you know the type of feeling that is? Like we had Millwall in the FA Cup final. Do you know what goes through your body when you see a team like that, where you feel, no disrespect to Southampton, Millwall, etc., but where you're a dominant, you think we can destroy that team. We will dominate that team. That it's all on us. We play today, we win. To get that at a semi-final, it's going to be at Wembley. Chance to go to a final. Whoa! Like, we just missed a great opportunity, man.
Poor Steve.
What else needs saying, really? Like, I think managers get a lot of stick for things that they don't necessarily get wrong. I think sometimes the players get some stuff wrong, but I think you can put some of this at Ollie. Similar sort of things, set pieces. you can train this, you can work on this, you can improve this. And we see United targeted with this time and time again. So that, for me, does go a little bit on the coaching staff. When you look at some of the schoolboy errors, that's not the first time Fred's been caught out with his back to goal, pressed and lost the ball. That tells me that's something that you either need to avoid or eliminate from someone's game. And I don't see that happening. I think a massive factor in yesterday's result was that Leicester midfield is better than United's midfield.
Oh, yeah.
We shouldn't really be saying that. Ndidi and Tillman moonwalk into United's midfield.
Easy.
I've been saying it for a few weeks, and some of the commenters didn't like it. And I was saying, Fred and McTominay, for me, are squad players. And that's not necessarily a dig at those as players. Let's just be realistic about who they are. They are squad players, but they've both probably played entirely far too many games for us this season. I thought Fred had a bit of a disaster class. It really wasn't a good game for him in any area yesterday. I thought Martial was a little bit anonymous. I just thought every department seemed to lack in something in United's side.
See, you're talking about Fred. When I look at that first goal, surely for me, Maguire should not be playing it to him from there. You can see he's marked. When you look at football, we have the luxury of having the different camera angles. I was looking at it from Maguire's angle. What are you doing? What are you doing?
On this, let's ask Rio. You'd play it into a marked Michael Carrick, wouldn't you? And you'd trust him to control that.
Not like that, though.
Yeah, I would. And I think that the difference is I think they're being coached to do that. That's the important part of this. If we're saying, he should, he shouldn't, they're being coached to do it. I watched my two boys play at the weekend. They're being coached to play the same type of pass on a regular basis. This is football now. It's very different to when I played. We don't play the balls into danger areas where there's an opportunity for someone to nick it and then be in the 6-yard box. Like we don't play like that. We saw Xhaka do that. He's getting past the ball on the penalty spot, with his back to goal. It just don't happen when I played, but it's different now. So we can't judge it based on what I would have done because it's a very different way of playing football right now. So listen, Fred, he should be doing better than that. And like Steve said, he's been caught a couple of times before in that type of situation. So, and then that's from Maguire. One criticism I would have, I'd say, know your players. Like, no, if that's Van der Beek, if that's Pogba, if that's Bruno Fernandes, you played them the ball like that, not a problem. But if you feel that that's not part of their strong point, then you maybe you shy away and play past that. But listen, I don't think it was anyone individual's fault that game. I don't think they were at the races at all. And mistake from an individual or not, Leicester rightfully on the day got the result because they were the better team. They had that fire in their belly. You could see that they had that spark about them that Man United were lacking.
Donny van der Beek, did you see him? He looked obviously sad when he came off. I look at him and I just think, from an outsider's perspective, I just think, what are you guys doing over there with him? Like, is he good enough to play? Is he not? He's obviously not happy.
I feel like Van der Beek's almost been. I reckon he's sitting there and he's thinking, "This ain't what I was sold, man. This is not the way that this situation meant to play out from what I was told when I signed at this football club. Like, no one's guaranteed to play anywhere, but I think that it must have been sold into him that he was coming to play. You have to remember, like, the Euros is coming this summer, yeah." He's an integral part of that Holland side. Well, he was at that point. So he's not going to jeopardise the opportunity to play in the Euros by going somewhere when someone's saying, you know what, you might not play. You get a handful of games here and there. This ain't what he was sold, man. So I feel for him in that. Has he done enough when he's been given an opportunity? I think it's difficult. I don't care who you are. If you're playing the odd 2 minutes here and there, 3 minutes here and there, you cannot perform. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't care what level of player you are. So I don't think he's been helped in terms of team selection and being given opportunities. So I don't think it's fair to say that he's underperforming because I don't think he's been put in a position to perform yet on a consistent basis. So I really do feel for him. But it'd be interesting to know what he was told and what he was sold on the way in. Because the lack of opportunities he's had, I don't think he would have come here if he'd known that.
Surely he could have played some of the games that we've seen Fred play. Some of the matches we've come up against opposition where you would expect us to dominate the ball, and surely you're going to dominate the ball more efficiently with Van der Beek over Fred.
I watched him a hell of a lot in the Champions League in that year when they had a good run to the semi-finals at Ajax. He was so impressive in the way that he arrived in the box, the way that he could also play a bit deeper as well and receive the ball and keep the game ticking, plays the little short 5-yarders that keep the team momentum going, just keeps the team ticking. I think he would add value to this team, definitely. And I think he's somebody who can create goals. He played a part in the goal, even, by the way. He can create goals. And when he gets in the box, he knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. But to get in the box almost, he's got to play a position what Bruno Fernandes is playing. And he's not going to do that. Can he do it from a number 8 position in midfield or from a number 6 position holding? I think he can. I think he's intelligent enough. Ajax players are brought up intelligent footballers that they're able to play multiple positions. He can do that. It's just obviously that United want a stiffer central midfield area behind Bruno. And I get that, given that that's got to be protecting the centre-backs. And that's not going to be one of Van der Beek's strong points.
So
but then it begs the question, why buy him then?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I don't get it. And Rashford didn't look, obviously there's the injury. It's a bit up and down at the moment. I'm hearing, Steve, I was watching the Stretford Paddock show, and you mentioned Cavani potentially leaving. Can you give us a little bit more info on that from what you've been hearing?
When a player's parent, I mean, Rio obviously know deeper on this than I will, but when a player's parent comes out and says, he don't want to be there and I'm trying to get him a move, I think you have to believe that. No matter what damage control he does by saying, I'm proud to play for this club or I want to play for this club, I think that's the truth. I think when a player's family member comes out and says, here's what's going on, I think that's here's what's going on. And whatever comes out on the other side of that is damage limitation. I think he's probably not had the game time he thought he would get. Some of that's been because of injuries. Some of that's been because of a bullshit suspension. And I think maybe he just isn't digging it as much as he thought he would do when he came here. And maybe he does want to move on. Maybe he does want to finish his career somewhere like Boca Juniors, which I can understand. For a South American player, that's got to be the pinnacle of anything, hasn't it? And I think he could probably play for a few years at that level, in all honesty. United have got a problem, though, because I think we put all our eggs in the Cavani basket this season. And I think in flashes he's been really good, but he hasn't played enough for whatever reason. And I think United need to figure out what the long-term strategy is going to be. And that's where I worry for us, because I don't know if we've got it in us as a club to want to compete to be the best club in the world, which is what sort of mentality I think that you need to have. And I don't look at this club and I just think this is a club that exists to pay off someone else's debts rather than to, when you look at what City are doing and you go, that they're asking, what's the best that we could do in every department? I don't get the same vibe from United. I get that they go, oh, look how many retweets we got on this. Well, the thing that would get the most retweets ever is, here's our 21st title. Or here's us scoring a winner in the Champions League final in the injury time.
What do you mean there? What do you mean? I don't understand what you mean. And so you think there's not enough focus and financial power put behind?
I think they go, what's the minimum we can get away with investing into this club to keep us in a Champions League, rather than how do we win back-to-back titles? I don't think there's people at the club. Well, so that's wrong. There's definitely people at the club that are trying to do their best, but I don't think they're being given the resources and the permission to go and find what is the best thing that we can do. When I hear about the players that have been offered to the club at different levels, doesn't seem to be an interest in stacking up the quality and the ability in those areas. And when I look at the recruitment strategy, it's very much patching up rather than going out there and getting the best available. I just think that even if you look back at when the Glazers first came, if you look at what came prior to that, the 5 years prior to that, you was a part of that. We signed you. We signed Veron. We signed Rude. Were any of them players patching up players? Or were they, these are the best players in their position in the world? Or could be the best player in the position in the world? When was the last time we signed a player like that? And then we signed Rooney, and then we signed Ronaldo, and then we signed Rooney. That was the 4 or 5 years before the Glazers came. And then from when the Glazers came to when Fergie left, we made a profit on transfers. This is Manchester United that blew people to pieces in a transfer market the 5 years prior to them coming. Then we made a profit on transfers. And yes, since Fergie's gone, they've invested a lot of money, but they've invested it in 3 different managers. 4 different managers.
Difficult argument to when you put it just about financial putting money into players, because there's been a hell of a lot of money spent, especially since Fergie's gone. And I know you're saying about with 3 different managers, but investment I don't think has been an issue, if I'm being honest. And I could get shot down for this, but I'm just saying investment. Listen, we Paul Pogba.
Spent a billy.
Paul Pogba.
But how much of that spend is still here? Pogba's still here.
You guys went hard.
Lukaku's not. Di Maria's not. Schneiderlin's
No,
not.
I know that, but what I'm saying
not.
is the intention was there with the actual outlay. That's all I'm saying. Whether they work or not, like for instance, I may not have worked, but they spent 30 million on me. Veron didn't work. You mentioned Veron. He didn't work. He was gone. Do you know what I mean? Some of these players that come in don't necessarily work, but I'm more about, is the intention to spend and commit in that sense there. And I have to say, since Fergie's left, I think the managers have all been backed in the transfer market.
Jose's last summer definitely wasn't backed. We signed a backup right back, a backup goalkeeper. We didn't. You got to improve the first 11.
Then I get that, but in the main, if you look at majority of the years since they've been gone, since Fergie left, they've been backed in terms of finances to buy players.
But how much of that?
I think it's the type of
up?
recruitment. I think the problem for me is more about the type of recruitment. How we recruited before was more of the issue. It wasn't the actual investment. I think the money was put down. We were paying massive money, massive wages to players. And I think if you look at the wages across the league, we're probably one of the biggest payers, if not the biggest. But so that tells you that they're investing. But is the recruitment right? Has it been right? And up to this moment now, it hasn't. Now we've got Darren Fletcher and John Murtaugh's gone in there now. Fingers crossed. I know them guys. They're Man United people, especially Darren Fletcher, Man United person. They want to do a good job. They want to do a great job. It's about the recruitment now. And obviously they're going to be judged on that, but I think they're the right people in place now. And it's about what you bring in. Man United, for many years, especially in the Fergie days, and I hate to keep going back to it, but we bought the best young players in the world. Ronaldo was potentially going to be the best young player. Anderson won the Golden Ball, the young Golden Ball. He won that.
Nani.
Do you know what I mean? Ruud van Nistelrooy young, Rooney, myself was young. Are we going to go back to that? Like, for instance, that's why when you talk about the likes of Haaland and Mbappe, that's just that they're the types of players in yesteryear that we would have bought. We'd have gone earlier and bought them or now. So that's the interesting part. How's the recruitment going to look from this point on now? Because, like you say, have we got the young players coming through who are going to be able to buy into the Man United ethos and philosophy that's been set and that is being set now? That was there when I went. Listen, the winning mentality is not there right now, but surely the Man United way is still within them walls at Carrington. And so anyone coming in understands exactly what that is. And this is what happens. This is what goes on a daily basis. This is what it means to play for Manchester United. And that's being set and that's in motion. And that's an important part of people coming in. Whereas I think we lost that for a few years under the previous managers, because I don't think that Man United way and that Man United idea and identity was being fulfilled and carried out by the players or the powers that be in charge at the time.
I just want to challenge that for a second, though, Rio, because if you're looking at the last year or two since Ollie's been there, look at the players you've signed. That's more the Man United way you would hope, right? So if you're looking at
I agree, and I think we're going along the right way. But I think there's still improvements to be made, and I think this window now, Ollie's done a great job, right, in getting us from where we was, 30 odd points behind Liverpool to now in front of Liverpool in the league. That's a massive flip, yeah. But then where do we go now? Are we happy with that? Are we satisfied? Do we just sit back and go, we've made improvements, we're happy, or is it now right? Put the pedal to the floor now. We're going to really make a big statement. And next year, the recruitment, this next window is going to be crazy. Like we're going to buy, there's going to be, listen, I think, unless Mbappe signs a new deal, I think Mbappe will be there, Haaland will be there, and Harry Kane will be there in the transfer window, ready to be scooped up by somebody. So them three are the best strikers in the world.
We ain't signing them players.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying they're there to be scooped up. Then the question is, are Man United ready to go and take that? Are them players willing to go to Man United? That's the big difference. So we'll see. Because them players there could be the difference between finishing second and first.
When was the last time we had a first choice right winger?
We haven't had one for ages.
How have we gone through window after window after window and that's not been addressed?
Since Antonio Valencia left, we've not had one.
Yeah, and he was playing right back for how many years?
And right back at the end, yeah.
So that's what worries me, is that too much of this is patchwork. And we signed that Palestri lad. I had a quick bit of YouTube scouting and I was like, he's not going to be a United first team player. Ahmad, same thing. He looks like he's got a higher ceiling than Palestri does from the little bits I've seen of him, but he ain't playing week in, week out at the moment. And then you have a couple of injuries like we've got at the moment, and you're going, is Hugo going to get a game? Like, this is... I understand that's how youth players get their start, and that's how they break into the team.
That's how Rashford got in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But where's the first choice 11? We don't have a first choice 11. We've got maybe 9 first choice players, and then we make do.
Boy,
it's recruitment, man. It's all down to the players. I spoke at the top of the show. I spoke about Brendan Rodgers. Recruitment has been a key part of what Leicester have done. You see the business that they've done. I'm talking about bringing in a superstar, but underneath of that, you need to have some people that come in under the radar. Do you know what I mean? Where did Ndidi come from?
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Tielemans, really, as well. Good young.
Anyone who plays Football Manager knew about Tielemans.
No, but I'm saying a good young player at the time, but no one actually committed. I'm saying.
He was available on a free transfer, Rio.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that we weren't in that fishing in that pond. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got the likes of Fofana. Do you know what I mean? There's so many players.
It's all well and good to be calling out some of these players, but one thing I've realized is that the Man United pressure is not the same pressure that you get at Leicester. You know, you can go to Leicester if you're Yuri Tielemans, you can go there and it can be all right. You know what I mean? There's not as much eyes. That's why players like potentially Jesse Lingard, they can go to West Ham and they can let their hair down. As soon as he steps out on the pitch for Man United, the pressure's high. It sounds like I'm defending United a bit, but it's the truth. The levels are just different, even though it seems like you're competing for the same places in the league.
Yeah, and it comes down to due diligence as well. You got to know the character. You can't tell me that when Fergie signed the player, he didn't know their character. You look at Ruud van Nistelrooy last week on this show, what he was saying about him. He spoke to him every other week before he signed. So that's getting to know the character. That's getting to know this. Is this kid right? Is he made of the right stuff to come to Man United? Because listen, if Sir Alex Ferguson thought for 1 minute during them phone calls that Ruud van Nistelrooy might have just thrown the towel in, ain't the right mindset, he would have just said, thank you, reverse, get out. I'm out of that transfer. He's gone. But that's due diligence. That's time. That's understanding with the players, the mentality that you're bringing into the club. So I'm sure that's all going on behind the scenes with United and the recruitment now. But there's a lot to be done. I know that for a fact of Man United. But it's not all doom and gloom. We can't sit here and say it's all doom and gloom because there's turnaround in events in terms of position in the league is a big turnaround, man, in one season. So do you want to see that trajectory carry on and continue for next season?
I guess that means Leicester, obviously, they're through to the semis.
Pardon? The FA Cup?
City.
It's got to be City now, isn't it?
I'm going to say Chelsea just to be different.
Hater.
No,
I'd love Leicester to win it.
For one, but they're not conceding goals, and I think that's massive.
Yeah.
I'd love Leicester to win it.
We'll see. Moving on. Steve.
Right, so we kind of had egg on our faces a little bit, ripping Joel.
No, you were ripping me. Rio went missing because I think he knows what's been going on with United.
You were lucky, man. You were so lucky that you didn't finish 3-0 or 3-2 or whatever it was. You didn't lose that game. You were lucky.
Jesse Lingard on absolute fire, as we've sort of mentioned.
Yeah.
And Arsenal, like, you're safe now. What's that, 42 points? I think you can stay up now.
Yeah, we're staying up. Look, Steve, this season is what you call a write-off, innit? It's just got to be accepted. But I want to start off by giving praise to West Ham as well, because I'll be honest with you, like you were talking about Brendan Rodgers, Rio, David Moyes, my gosh, what a turnaround, man. It's actually a team that I look at now, and I saw that in the fixture list, and I thought, oh, this ain't going to be easy, you know, and it wasn't like that before. But I just have to just commend how they play. The relationship between Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, like, if Rice is winning the ball, Souček is right there ready to receive it. They're not playing too far away from each other. I just love their positioning. And that's what was missing. Going back to the United game, when Fred has the ball and Matic was nowhere to be seen. It's just the chemistry just weren't right. But West Ham have got it down to a T, man. Like, I proper respect him.
Yeah, I think David Moyes has done a remarkable job there. They're now a team that people don't look as a soft touch, which has been the case for a few years with West Ham. They're a team that are organised. They all know their jobs. They play to their strengths. And you're seeing some certain players shining. Declan Rice is one of them. Soyech is one of them as well. Jesse Lingard, since he's gone in there, what he's done has been amazing. But that's no surprise to me. This kid, I've always said it. I've argued with pundit after pundit, on air, off air, that Jesse Lingard could play in any top team because he's an intelligent footballer. He can play off one touch or two touch. Yeah. He gets judged, Jesse Lingard, on his antics on social media. That's what he gets judged on. So some people, it rubs them up the wrong way and they just don't like him because of it. And some people, a lot of the younger generation, love it. It's the way it is. But if you're looking at him as just a cold footballer, from that area alone, the kids, anyone who knows football, surely got to see the kid's got a talent, knows how to play, knows how to get into spaces where he can't be marked, to receive the ball on the back foot, can run beyond teams, is athletic enough as well. And when he gets in, the kid can finish, and he showed that. And he's having a great season since he's gone to West Ham.
That goal, like the technique, I will go back to it, Rio. Some of these guys that come from the better academies, I still need to go back and prove my point fully, but I feel like technically he's a cut above them, man. Like, and I think it's because he's come from the academy personally.
I thought he was England's best player at the World Cup.
He was up there.
He was excellent at the World Cup.
Well, you can see that Gareth trusts him. He's just hit a little bit of form and he's straight back in. So that's obviously, there's that trust there that he knows that I knew what he was capable of. He just needs to go and do it at his club, and he wasn't doing it, so I couldn't pick him. Same as John Stones.
Gives him a different option as well to play, but we're going to get on to England in a bit as well. I think when you're looking at it from an Arsenal perspective, I'm
what are you? I'm going to ask you. Are you frustrated? Are you happy with that result? Are you a little bit confused? Because I said the other day, it's like a promiscuous girlfriend. That's how Arteta must look at it. And it showed itself again this week because he can't trust them. He don't know what's coming. He don't know if he says, whatever he says in that changing room, and he says to himself, oh, that's a good team talk. His staff will probably stay and say, listen, Mikel, what a team talk that was. He's probably still thinking, I still don't know what's going to come on in the next 45 minutes and what I'm going to have to say at half time. So I don't know what they're going to do out there.
You know what it is? You know what it is, Rio? I remember once Sir Alex said that when you guys were winning the title, you had 7 to 8, maybe 9 top performance, and you could afford to have 2 passengers, right? 2 to 3 passengers.
Good point.
I remember something like that. The thing with us, how many passengers do we have? I can name the people you can rely on week in, week out.
Go on, then name them.
Saka, you can rely on. Emil Smith-Rowe. Yeah, Saka every week. He's been the star boy. Emil Smith-Rowe, when he comes on, excellent job in the last couple of months. Now, Odegaard, I can definitely say you can rely on him. After that, you can't really, and Tierney, sorry, my bad. Kieran Tierney as well. After that, it gets shaky. Now, as you can see there, Steve, Rio, it's all the young guys. Where's the reliance on Xhaka that you need permanently? Where's the reliance on David Luiz that you need permanently? Where's the reliance gone? We don't have enough. You can't be carried by four kids every week playing against these big boy teams that's still learning per game. It's where we've gone wrong. Lacazette's come off form recently, which has been helpful, but is it enough?
Are you going backwards or forwards?
You know what? That's the toughest question.
You're doing the hokey cokey.
Where are you finishing? Top half or bottom half?
Bruv, you keep trying to grill me with this question every week. I don't know. And honestly, I don't know.
We need some more Arsenal fans on there. Get us an Arsenal fan on there next week, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's honestly, right about now, it's sticky. In the beginning of the season when we were 15th, it was a joke. People ain't even laughing no more at 10th or 15th. No. Only Steve messages me and that's it. And it's dry. It's boring. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not nice. But boy, that's Arsenal at the moment. Moving on. Man City.
I went to that game. I done the Everton Man City game and they dominant, man. It's like it's been all season for them, really. Since they started going on this run where they just look like a formidable unit. They're efficient. They're They have desire when they lose the ball. You can see they're well drilled, a well schooled unit. They don't concede many chances now. They look assured, and they've got that quality. And I think the biggest difference between the two teams this weekend, other than just what I've just mentioned as well, was the bench. The Everton bench was full of kids, and Kevin De Bruyne comes off the bench, plays a part in the first goal, scores a second goal. Game over. They've got so much, and they're not even really playing properly with a number 9. Like Jesus played at the weekend, but in the main, they've been playing with a false 9, Gundogan playing there, and he scored again at the weekend. So this team, man, it's dangerous for everybody, because I don't see anybody having the ball as much as them. No one's going to dominate them out of possession. And when they've got the players that they've got and the tactical nous, and they've got the manager at the helm, it makes it ominous for everybody else, man. I worry for everybody else. And listen, Everton played well, man. Like Calvert-Lewin had a couple of little half bits moments. Ben Godfrey at the back was immense. But it's hard. You've got to have more than that. You have little moments in the game, a set piece against City. You've got to capitalise, and they didn't.
Steve, I know you're very interested when it comes to tactics. The most amazing thing for me when you look at Gundogan's goal, is the position that Laporte took. Like, he carried the ball out. Yeah, you was at the game, Rio. Yeah, he carried the ball out, and he was the one. He passed it to KDB. KDB passed it back to him, and he shot initially. And it's just the way they play, he's able to come out from the back and go that far up. I never saw you take that position before. Like,
no, the way they're set up is because they pen teams back. There's a team back or just on the edge of their box, and we talk about the two fullbacks coming inside the pitch. He has that as well. Sometimes he didn't have that this game, but that's just to create overload. But a team is so far back, the centre back can come in and be the extra player. And that's what he's encouraged. That's the difference. It happened before. It happens in other games. But the difference is Pep Guardiola is encouraging these centre-backs to run out with the ball and come through and commit someone, pull someone out of that defensive line, that defensive unit that creates a gap somewhere. And he done it only a minute or two before that as well. He came out of it and fizzed the ball into Foden, I think, or it might have been De Bruyne again. But that's what they're looking for. They're looking to just bring someone out of because people sit back against them. Hard to break down. Everton were doing it fantastically well. Couldn't penetrate that back line, the back three. But once people start coming into areas and people aren't used to seeing them, the centre-back pops out, oh no, I've got to come out and engage. Once that player comes out, there's a gap somewhere, and the City players find it.
They've started rocking, he did it a little bit at Munich. He started rocking the 3-2-2-3 kind of lineup where it can be extremely fluid, and it's mad because it's the WM formation that Matt Busby used with the Busby Babes. And Guardiola has made it work in 2021. It's great. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, his formation is so fluid. It mixes up. You can look like that 1 minute and then go back to a 4-3-3 the next. It's so fluid and that they can change. And when they're defending, they look like they got a 4. When they attacking with the ball, they go into a 3. So it's so, and they've got to have the right players who are intelligent enough to carry that out as well, by the way. And that's what he's got. But this isn't something new. Listen, like you say, at Munich, he done it. He brought the fullbacks to play inside, inverted fullbacks with Fabian Delph. They won the league, and Fabian Delph was doing it. So he's been doing it for a while. He's just well versed. He's just a fantastic coach, and he gets his ideas across very, very well to these players. And they look so dominant. Are they more dominant than Liverpool last year, do you think? I think because they do it more, they sort of do it more relaxed. Liverpool was a bit full on with it, weren't they? Whereas these lot seem more in control of when they're in control.
It's balanced.
They're like a snake, isn't it? Where it's got their prey and it just strangles the life out of the snake, out of the prey. Do you know what I mean? That's what it feels like with this Man City team.
Liverpool a bit more like hard hitting.
Yeah.
These lot just sort of suffocating,
Yeah. They can do 1-0s, they can do 3-0s, they can, do you know what I mean? They can mix it up. So yeah, it's great. I've never seen anything like it. It's amazing, man. KDB, Steve.
He's the best ginger in the league since Scholes.
Has he been City's best player this year?
I think he's probably been their best player of the Abu Dhabi era. I think he's absolutely mega. And yeah, he probably has been their best player this year. Gundogan's really stepped up this year out of nowhere, seemingly. But I think De Bruyne's just an absolute different class of player. I'd love to have seen what Beckham would have been like in this era, because I think he'd have played the same role as De Bruyne plays.
But I don't know, Steve, because he was out for a little bit. You can't forget Diaz. You can't. Obviously, you've mentioned Gundogan, but for me, I think Diaz is going to get the nod overall. Because he's been able to improve players around him.
He's made him defensively
And
stronger.
he's been the difference maker.
Yeah,
he's been the standout difference maker because they always was good going forward. They always were able to break teams down, dominate possession. But their Achilles heel was always the defensive line was a problem. He's come in and changed that. So, yeah, I agree. I think his impact this season will probably override everything.
Yeah.
Who stops him in Europe? Anybody?
Munich. That's the only
that
team.
it?
Bayern Munich. Well, it's going to be Bayern Munich or PSG. Whoever gets out of that game, they're one of them two teams can stop them. And no one else has got a chance.
Newcastle, we can talk about that. We can talk about Chelsea not conceding again. Tuchel's definitely added that to Chelsea. We knew they had a good 11. They were a little bit open when Frank was there. How's Tuchel managed to get this sort of defensive drilling into him so fast?
That is down to coaching on the training pitch, 100%. Being able to translate your ideas and what you need from individuals and as a collective, as a team, and doing that on the TV screen in the classroom, and then getting that out and translating that onto the pitch in training sessions. There's nothing else. And
what
doing that with
specifically
clarity.
do you think he's done? Do you think it's a shape or do you think it's a mentality thing?
Both. I think that one of the key things is having Kante central in that area in midfield. The amount of balls he's won back for that team to maintain possession and to maintain position on the pitch has been phenomenal. I think bringing experience back into the team and giving them more responsibility has been a big difference to Frank's. Frank definitely went with the younger players, and I think that knocked a few of the older players' noses out of joint, and they may have reacted negatively towards that, and that had become and created a problem. But these players have come back in. I think Tuchel has rounded up the experienced players and said, you're here, you're my mainstay. And the younger players, you're going to be a part of that as well. But listen, the older players, don't worry, you're here with me. And they've all bought back in after probably, or maybe not feeling a part of it before. And I think it's disappointing a little bit. If you're looking at it from a professional point of view, as an ex-player, you're thinking, how would I react? I won't be happy, but I wouldn't try and destabilise stuff. And the murmurings coming out that things were trying to be destabilised by certain players. Whether that's true or not remains to be seen. It will come out in the wash, but you'd hope that wasn't the case. But I think tactically he's got them, and I think he said it in a couple of interviews, I want my team to be hard to beat and hard to play against. So he's been playing free at the back as well quite a lot. Hard, aggressive team. They lose the ball, everyone gets back behind the ball. Like quick, there's an intensity, there's an understanding. That's the way I want to play. That's the way we are. And so, yeah, I think tactically he's made, and that's the difference. I think you said Frank, the team was a bit more fluid going forward and scored more goals. And the stats tell you that. But they conceded more goals. And I think he's thought, you know what, I've got players who I think can nick me a result with a 1-0 or a 2-0 on the counter-attack, or at a moment comes in the game, they'll score us the goal. But I'm not conceding goals. And that's how it's played out for him. Been amazing, really.
Do you think they're a match for City at all in the semi?
Yeah, I think they will be. I think the way they're playing at the moment, for a team that doesn't concede goals, is always going to be a problem for someone. I think they'll relinquish possession, but I think they'll still pose a threat on the transition. When the ball is turned over, I think they'll still be a threat because the way that they're breaking at the moment, I saw it in the Champions League last week. The way Timo Werner deflected the ball into the air, got on the break, and then set up Ziyech from the edge of their box. It shows you that on the counter, they're going to be a problem for some teams.
You know what? Yeah, we had the privilege, myself and Steve, of listening to some of the defensive aspects of when you were at United, how you were defensively drilled. Now, I don't want you to go into too much detail because I think that's a podcast.
I do. Bollocks to that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna mix it up because we want to get some people alongside it. But anyway, if you can give us an insight of the different errors that you had, how far should he go, Steve?
Well, I'm getting my notepad out because that's what I'm all about at a minute.
Carlos Queiroz, Milestine, you had different ways that you were defending. Can you explain how you were drilled in both, please?
Actually, talk about the 4-ball drill because I asked you about that and you blanked me.
The 4-ball drill, what's that? I don't even know what it is.
Long ball comes in, you deal with it, reorganise, a cross comes in, and then a through ball and a third man run.
Yeah, we've done little things like that, and it's just like there's loads of drills you can do, man. It's just building a relationship with players, and I think that's always the key. You can do as many drills as you want, but if you're not building a relationship with certain players within them training sessions, I think it can hurt you. You don't see the improvement on a match day that you want to see. It's like me and Vidic used to be together 2v2s or a back two against 4 players, or we play a back 4 against 6 players or 8 players, and they do overloads against us, and we've got to defend. So stuff like that, definitely. Whether it happens as much now, I'm not sure because there's so many games. But it's so important to do drills like that. We used to do 1v1s, 2v2s defending, and it'd be like a defenders against the attackers, and we'd be like, all our defenders, we want to make sure we keep clean sheets, etc. And that filters through then to to when you're playing on a weekend, on a Saturday or match day. So yeah, and I think it's a personal pride situation as well. I watched Rudiger against Leeds, and I watched him in the Champions League the week just gone against Atletico Madrid. Now he's someone who wasn't really playing under Frank for whatever reason, but the intensity with which he's playing at right now is what you need to be a top player. Whether he's gonna sustain that, or what level you think he's at, to play at the level he's playing at the moment, he's been amazing in the last few weeks. And that you can see there's a desire in him, almost like he's using the fuel of Frank's regime, not playing him and not trusting him, as a method now to show people. And you can see it. He's screaming at players. He makes a block and he stands up and he gets in the face of the attacker. Something that is like is an individual thing that gets individuals going, and everyone does it their own way. And I use them as an example because I was there the other day and I witnessed it, and I was like, whoa, that's like he's on it. He ain't getting beat by no one at the moment, the way that he's on it and the way he's concentrating.
So what regime of defense? Well, Steve's gone again. What defense regime did you enjoy playing in the most under United? Like I said, there was Carlos Queiroz. There was, as your coaches.
We had Rene. Mick was there. Moyes obviously was there for a while. But I've got to say, Carlos Queiroz was just amazing. He was a meticulous coach. Every detail, no stone was left unturned. And he didn't really do defensive work as an individual, or guys, you need to do this or that. It was a structure of the team. And it's a structure of the team that always helps the players most as well, whatever position you're playing in. If you can work on yourself, you can work on your own unit, but if the structure of the team's not right, it'll fall down. And the way that we played, I think he left. Remember, he went to Madrid and he left for a little while, and we played on kind of autopilot for a year or two, and based on some of these tactics.
So you kept the same methodologies, you kept the same tactic styles, even when he was
training. Some of the training drills we done, a lot of it was like still just on autopilot from what he'd done.
Wow.
The transitions, especially once we won the ball, and the transitions through the team, someone always running long, one of you coming short, one of you wide as well. There's so many different little nuances that were just kept the same, and just players just running just off memory. He was an amazing coach, and there's little details even like, I remember one time I was coasting in training, just like defending, staying in my slot, not moving about much because there were so many games coming in, and he would say to me, Rio, your muscles don't understand just being switched on and off as and when you want, like once every week, and then just on a Saturday you go into like full 90%, 100% mode. Your muscles need to feel that and be used to it. So every now and again, Rio, you get the ball, play the ball wide or to someone, and just sprint through the team to get on the end of something. You might not get it, but just do it just to make sure your body feels that.
Wow.
Because it won't be. And I thought like, right, this guy's mad. And then I realized doing it, there was a difference. And it's injury prevention as well, because if you're just doing something out of the blue and you're not used to it, your body sometimes, because these boys' bodies nowadays are like Ferraris. They're just like high level, highly tuned, finely tuned motors. They're just like machines. So you've got to get used to doing certain things, and little details like that are key.
How much of defending do you think is concentration and mentality versus your physical?
Definitely the concentration and mentality outweighs just the physical attributes. It's always down to concentration. Do you know what I mean? If you're not concentrating, doesn't matter how big, how quick, how fast you are, you get done. You get beat. Because if you're not concentrating, you've not read who's on the ball. I know he can pass the ball long because I've done my research. And I know the man on the ball, once he turns and faces me in the back four, he always likes to play over my shoulder because I've done my research. You could have done all the research, yeah? In the 84th minute, that guy turns with the ball who you know about, but you forgot, you haven't switched on that the guy who, when he turns, the guy you're playing against, the number 9, loves to run behind, and you step up. And you think, it's just that one little lapse in concentration, and now he's gone in a 1v1 and slotted in the back of the net, 1-0, game over. So it's those lapses in concentration, and your physical prowess isn't going to get you out of them sticky points. That's the thing. When you're a kid and you're physically bigger and stronger and can outpace everybody, you get time to get back in. You can chase someone down and win the ball back, and you get called a superhero. But the higher levels you get to, and you get to the first team, etc., and the quality of play you're playing against goes that much higher, you don't get the time to be able to get back and use your physical prowess and physical pace and strength to get back at a player when you've made a mistake through a lack of concentration. By the time you can recover, by the time you get anywhere near touching distance, let alone making a tackle, that player's quality and that quickness of finishing and speed of thought, the ball's in the back of the net. So that's why it's always good as a kid, even if you're the quickest. You've got to work on your technique and your skills, concentrating, your positional sense massively as a kid.
You hear that, you young guys? That one's for you.
But I was going to ask you, the young kids aren't getting to scout their opposition. They're not getting the information to find out what the number 10 that they're playing against is going to be like. What fundamentals are you saying to young defenders that you need to work on? Where are you learning this? Who are you getting guidance from as a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old prospective centre-half now, where you can go and figure out how to become, a world-class central defender?
One of the big things that most of the kids, my kids are guilty of it, is that all kids, you ask them, did you watch the game at the weekend? A lot of kids don't watch live football no more. A lot of kids watch segments. They watch little pieces, little highlights of games. So they don't see how Van Dijk gets on the ball. What's his most consistent pass that he does all the time to change angles and change things? Where does he stand when De Bruyne gets on the ball, or when an attacking midfielder gets on the ball and turns and faces him as these defenders? What does he do? Does he just go to the ball, or does he drop off a little bit? Where is he in relation to that striker? The most dangerous number 9 is always there. Where is he when he's going to be running in behind? Does he drop? Does he stay tight with him? Do you know what I mean? So watching live football, I think, is such a massive part of learning, because you're watching the best at it a lot of the time, and you're watching people. You can see people make mistakes. I wouldn't do that. I'll do that differently. Let it play out in a game that you go out and play in then, and see how it works.
And you're doing that. You're asking the questions. What is he doing? Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that? And it's about doing the fundamentals right, doing the basics right, like doing training drills when you're young as a kid as well, like defending crosses. I could pick out every single week, every single game, centre-halves taking up horrendous bad positions from crosses. Because I don't think young defenders now are drilled to defend crosses anymore. It's more about getting on the ball in possession a lot of the time. I'd love to be proven wrong, but what I'm seeing in the Premier League and other divisions, even around Europe, defenders half the time are facing their own goal, or their shoulders are facing where the ball's coming from, and they can't see the player. It happens so often. And that's why if I was a coach now, I'd be saying to my team, cross the ball at every given opportunity, because no one can defend it. So many goals that comes from crosses because players can't defend crosses. Like just basic fundamentals like that. And they're drilling them into if you do them fundamentals, things like that, you will now stand out from the crowd, because it's not as often, not as obvious. It doesn't get seen as often anymore.
It does seem like it's because the FA's got this whole play like England, the England way, and all the rest of that. And a lot of that does seem to focus on the in possession aspects. And that seems to be the only thing people talk about. And I don't really see any sort of fundamental how to make a tackle, how to slide tackle effectively, because it's still a valid skill that you have to learn.
But no one was ever taught how to slide tackle, I've got to be honest. I never had one training session where a manager went, this is how you do a slide tackle and this is the technique I want you to use. It was just a given, you just knew how to do it. I didn't even slide anyway.
I have seen one that Wes Brown led, which was the timing a slide tackle, yeah. I can't remember where it was.
Send it to me.
I will. It was. I think it might have been in 4-4-2 performance, but it was time a tackle on the ground.
It's more like understanding what your distance is between you and the striker. Even if you're playing against one striker, for instance, as two centre halves, do you stand behind him, or does one of you go in front of him when you go in good possession, and one of you go in front and one of you sweep up behind? Like little details like that are good to just work on and just make sure you have a good understanding of it. Like I would never play with just two centre halves behind a striker and wait. If we've got good possession in their half, I want one in front. So if the ball gets cleared, my man's going to be first. And if it goes over our heads, I'll be first to that as well. So like just little things, man. It's just like coaching's just. I'd love to have been a coach, man, but I just couldn't do it because of my own personal situations. But just handing over that type of stuff would be great.
There's a little Saturday League team in Manchester that could do some defensive work if you're not doing it.
Too far, man. It's too far.
You know what we need, people? We need you guys if you guys can help us find something that we can use in regards to tactics so we can take it through on one of these shows. I would love.
Oh, yeah. Just up the levels, Joe. Up the levels.
If you guys find anything, just let us know and we'll see if we should use it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a masterclass, honestly.
Listen, I've seen Rio do it on BT, talking to Ancelotti, talking to Trent and Robinson, and bruv, I don't tell you, but I'm dribbling, bruv, when I see it. It's crazy. I love it.
There's more coming. Don't worry. There's more coming.
Yeah, you're not allowed to tell them who in it, but it's good ones.
No. Yeah, there's stuff in the pipeline coming. Some big players, man. So it'll be on here as well with us. So don't worry. You won't miss it.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about the England squad?
No, Newcastle first, because I don't think we showed them any love.
They don't deserve love this season.
Nah, well, that's a bit harsh, innit? Not since 2021. They've been poor.
That's what 2021. Since he's been doing this, 2021, they've been poor. What's there to talk about? Simple as.
What's going on over there, Mike Ashley?
Why Steve Bruce get no love?
Hold on. Before we go there, what's going on with Mike Ashley, man? Like, you know what? Let me tell you why I rate him, yeah? This guy's not moving, you know. It don't matter what anyone says. Since I've been a kid, yeah, it's been Mike Ashley out. And the most you'll get is, yeah, he's thinking of selling the club, but it's not happening. What does he want to do with it?
He don't care what people think. It's his club. It's his club, and he's doing what he wants to do. Whether you like it or not, he's the one who's put the money up, and he's doing what he thinks is right for the club. And like, whether the Geordies don't like it, a lot of them hate him and don't like him, but get round your money up and take over the club then.
Yeah. Bad man.
Let's move on.
Yeah, you're not gonna answer Steve's question about Steve Bruce, nah.
Yeah, why don't Geordies love Steve Bruce?
Because he managed Sunderland, that's why.
He's a Geordie lad.
So?
And he was doing, last few weeks, not so much, but he was doing a comparative job to what Benitez did there, and they love Benitez for that.
Yeah.
And I think Benitez had a better side than he did. I think he was doing a very decent, realistic job in a team that's going to be a yo-yo club unless they stop selling their best players and start investing. They're a club that annoys me, actually. Like, you're probably never going to be competing for the league and the Champions League. Why can't they invest into their academy properly and create a pathway for young players?
That's my biggest point with Newcastle. Like, they've got that area locked off. All of the northeast is basically Newcastle's because Middlesbrough are not in the Premier League. No one else is at Darlington, etc. They're not in the Premier League, so they've got the first dibs on all the talent in the northeast. Why have they not nurtured more players into that first team? I don't get it. Whether it's investment or the quality of the structure of that process at the club is not right. I don't know what it is. That's what I'd be if I was a Geordie, if I was a Newcastle fan. That's where I'd be shouting and pointing my finger.
They've not even brought through the best Geordies in the Premier League era.
No,
Southampton brought Shearer through.
Yep.
West Ham
Chris
brought
Waddle?
Carrick through.
Where did Chris Waddle come through?
I'm not sure.
He come
actually.
through.
I mean, Gaza did, obviously, but was sold off.
Yeah, Beardsley, he come through there.
Did he come through there or end up there?
I don't know. One of those, something like that anyway. But yeah, but listen, I agree. There's not, whatever you say, not enough has been done with the talent that there must be kicking around in Newcastle. It's impossible to think that.
I guess Andy Carroll did.
It's
Andy
sad.
Carroll, yeah. Amiobi.
Yeah, Shola. It's sad because when you look at their stadium, it's fit for Europe, man.
What a place to play. I love playing there. What a place to play. We used to hurt them, but it was an unbelievable place to play. What a stadium. We were beating them one time. This is how good their fans are, the Geordies, yeah? I have to always just tip my hat to them. We were beating them something like 6-1 or something like that one time, and they were still singing their songs for their club and clapping their team. It was unbelievable. And all of our players were like in the change room, like, did you hear that? Did you hear what was going on there? Like anywhere else, they're getting booed off, whistled off, the lot. Clapped, cheered. Unbelievable. Madness. But yeah, we got to talk England then. What we got?
Well, we got a bit of a weird team selection coming through. I saw some journalists really getting the ump with Trent not being selected, but I had no dramas with that whatsoever. But then when he selects...
Wait. Why? What's the problem with? Why do you think Trent shouldn't be? Is happy? You happy with that? Tell me why.
He's been gash, Rio. Come on, he's been awful this season.
I'm with Steve. I'm with Steve. How the heck? I know Reece James ain't. It's been a bit mad recently, but overall, Reece James has been better than him. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's been better than him.
Wait. But I love Reece James. Don't get me wrong, and I think Reece James is going to fight Trent for that position for the rest of their career. I believe
Trippier
that.
Was a mad one.
But Reece hasn't been a regular in the team. Hudson-Odoi's been playing a lot as well. He hasn't been playing every week. He's not been a regular at his team, and that's the where it's a bit of a grey area, because the statement that Gareth Southgate put out a while ago was about players going to be playing on form. They're going to be picked on form. And that's where probably a lot of people are sitting there going, okay, I can go through this squad. And Trippier has been out for 10 or so weeks, not been playing. Chilwell isn't a regular starter in the Chelsea team.
He's been poor this season.
Reece James hasn't been a regular starter. Eric Dyer hasn't played well this season.
Poor.
Connor Cody, indifferent. There's 5 players. And you're looking, say, for instance, at the right-back I think Gareth mentioned about 6 or 7 players, the under-21s, Max Aaron's right-back, etc., before we even mentioned Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, you've got the best defensive 1v1 right-back in the league. You've not even mentioned him. And you mentioned defensive areas being a big element, a big area of a defensive player's makeup. The player who's been to Paris and shut down Mbappe and co. He played 1v1 and absolutely licked his lips at playing 1v1 against Sterling, one of our best players, and locked him down. Now, I think, listen, I'm not England manager, so Gareth Southgate can do what he wants, but we're here to debate it. But I'm thinking, if I'm getting to the semi-finals or around that area, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, you're going to be playing up against the likes of France, inevitably. And them type of teams like that, big teams. You want a player who can actually lock down his side sometimes. You're not going to have the ball some of that time. So is there a player in that team, in that squad, who's going to be able to just come in for one game and go, bang, this is me. I enjoy playing defensively in 1v1. You might need that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Running at you fast, boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but and I think that's the problem with the England squad, that it's there to be debated. And I think Gareth is mature enough and understands that all these people like us are going to be debating his squad. But I just think if you state something that's very categoric at the beginning, when you shift away from that without really acknowledging it and explaining it, I think it's difficult for people to understand. And you'll have that as us as people that are commenting, but also players, I'm sure.
You've got an England squad at the moment with a problem. And I think the problem is there's no identity to this England team. Everyone wants to look at maybe even what Liverpool did last year, but certainly what City do this year, and think that you can just replicate that with the England squad because some of those players play for City or play for Liverpool. But I don't think England have got the strengths that could be a really... I mean, I think we've got some really talented players that would love the ball You like see Grealish and Foden and Harry Kane, but I don't think you've got the quality in midfield or defence. Like I don't think you've got world-class midfield and defence that can give you the security to play that style. I don't think you've got anything like that level of player. So I think England need to come up with a system which is maybe a bit more counter-attacking, which is maybe, let France have the ball. Because it's all right going smacking about Malta and Slovakia and stuff in your qualifiers. We always win. Like England go through the qualifying group 10-0 very often. Like, what's the point in those games? What's the point in learning a 65, 70% possession game playing against Moldova? Because that's not going to be how you play when you play against Germany or France or Spain. England need to accept that there's going to be another way of playing. And I think Wan-Bissaka playing that way for United, even Maguire playing that way for United and Rashford playing that way for United, is probably what Southgate should look to base his England side on and go, when we come against the bigger teams, if we're going to try and be successful and win something, rather than clapping ourselves for going out at the semi-final when you probably shouldn't have done, then I think you have to look at a different style of playing and be realistic about who you are and what personnel you've got. That midfield is easily good enough to do what Liverpool have done in terms of be functional and hard-working and try and provide a lot of balls going into the box and do it like that. I don't think they can do what City do and really hold possession all over the place in that sort of style.
I disagree, I think we've got players that could play possession football. I think we've got fullbacks who are comfortable with the ball. And I think that's a big part of today's game in terms of retaining possession. I think we've got midfielders who, if you played the likes of, say, one of Mount, Grealish, Foden in their middle positions, alongside a Declan Rice, Jordan Henderson type player, I think you have that there, the ability to keep the ball. With the strikers, the three strikers that you choose.
Against the big teams, Rio.
Give us your 11. I'm going to write your 11 down.
Listen, if you had the likes of Foden, Grealish, and Harry Kane dropping into that as well, creating an overload, who does it well for Spurs, you got players in there that can keep the ball, and you got players in there that are going to command some sort of respect as well in them big games against them big players that play in this league and around Europe, who are going to go, actually, whoa, we need to rethink this a little bit, actually, because this ain't the England of old who are going to just sit there. And I just think that we've got players now. We've got some great creative players. Let's build a team that suits them. Do you know what I mean? Let's not go to a tournament and whimper out because we don't play to our strengths. We've got a team that have got creative players who've been crying out for years that you could build a team around, even if they're young and inexperienced. This is a tournament you can almost go, you know what? Given what you've had with COVID as well, and they're a young team, you're almost going to get a bye, almost. You can get a bye here if the narrative's controlled properly. And you tell people, listen, man, we've got young players. I'm building for Qatar. This is a year almost like, we're not going to write it off. We're going to go to try and win it. But these young players have had a real indifferent year here with all the pandemic, etc. We're going to go there and just roll our sleeves up, take off the shackles and go and play. I'm not saying go and play irresponsibly, but go and give our best players the platform to go and perform. And that's playing without the handbrake on.
Give us your team then. Give me your 11.
It's hard, man. I won't want to be in Gareth's shoes right now picking that team. It's hard.
That's what I do, though. So I want to see this 11 that's going to dominate the ball.
It depends. Or if you're going to play a team that dominates the ball, then Trent right back or Reece James.
You're 11, not your 22.
Nah, you know what? Don't do it now because that's an episode within itself.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Right. I'm not trying to hear that now. And I want the people to get involved on that one.
Yeah, we want people to give us their 11, man.
My team beats your team, by the way.
Yeah.
I haven't seen your team, but my team beats your team.
All right, we'll let you say that.
Speaking about England, though, Bamford.
He must be absolutely spitting feathers right now.
He's the one, I think. Check my passport.
No, he's the one, I reckon that he's going, no, that this is a disrespect. Because what he's done, he's got 14 goals this year. Got another goal at the weekend. He got a goal at the weekend. He got an assist. And then he's waiting for the email to come through. Thinking my system's down. The system's down on my tech equipment in my house. A bit like Steve's. when we do the show, and he can't get the emails. He can't believe what's going on.
It's horrible because Villa have dropped off since 2021. So I'm not saying Ollie Watkins has been poor, but he hasn't been as effective as he was in the start of the season. So
I'm buzzing for Ollie Watkins because I love his journey. Yeah, it ain't been a straightforward journey to get to where he's got to. So I'm buzzing for Ollie Watkins. This is no slant on him whatsoever. I'm just saying that Bamford is sitting there going, how many more goals have I got to score? I'm second top goal scoring Englishman in the charts right now, and I'm not getting any recognition. I'm not getting noticed. And the way he plays football, you seen his 2 goals he scored earlier in the season against Aston Villa at Villa Park. Twinkle toes on the dance floor, shimmying through people, top bins. Like he scores all types of goals. He gets across people. I think he's been fabulous this season. And in that high intensity pressing team that he plays in, there ain't no slacking. He's been called a slacker in past, and he's not. He don't apply himself right. He looks lazy. He looks a little bit lethargic. Well, you can't do that in the Bielsa team. The geezer knows how to put a shift in. I think it's he would be the one for me who's sitting there going, whoa. This is a crack. This is crazy.
You know what? Yeah. Before I forget, let us know in the comments who you think should have been included in the team as well, in the England team, and maybe even your team this weekend. If you think there's a couple players that should have been in there that didn't play, that should have played.
Do you want my team?
Go on. I knew you was writing something. Go on.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I ain't messing about.
Go on.
Here's my team for the Euros. 11. We're playing on the counter. 4-2-3-1. Right. Hendo in net. I think he's England's best.
I don't want no explanations. Just want to hear your team.
All right. Wan-Bissaka right back. Shaw left back. Godfrey and Maguire centre half. Ward-Prowse and Rice centre mid. Grealish in the 10. Sancho on the right. Rashford on the left. Calvert-Lewin up front.
Where's Phil Foden?
This is
on the bench.
Don't start this. Don't start this.
Who did you say number 9?
Calvert-Lewin.
Calvert-Lewin.
We're playing on the counter, Rio.
Wait. I love Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
You heard me.
I love Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Yeah, I got to be honest. He's one of my faves. I'm buying him if I'm a match. If I'm a big team right now, buy him quick.
Oh my god!
Right?
You heard me right though.
But Harry Kane is not in your team.
Nope, he's on the bench.
Listen. You know,
if I was in Manchester now, I'd come round right now.
I've seen you boxing. Fucking bring it.
I can't believe that. No, that's going to be a good episode. We're going to do that right before the Euros.
Yeah, listen, guys, we're going to be doing an England 11 for the Euros soon. So just be ready. We want your team to be popping through soon.
Trust me, man.
We're going to collate them. Don't worry. If you pop them through now, we're going to collate them all.
Yeah, for sure. Rio, I think we've come to the end for this week, innit?
Have we? What about Harry?
Speaking of Harry Kane.
I've got to be honest, yeah? Harry Kane, I love him. I love the way he plays football.
Have you been taken out of context there with this?
No. I'm just telling you, Harry Kane, yeah? Because what I'm saying, is I've said it a few times now. I've said it on BT a couple of times. I've said it on here. Harry Kane, at the end of his career, what does he want to be judged on? Does he want to be judged as being a winner or just someone who just scored goals? Because there's a big difference. And I'm going to take you to a scenario. Like I get invited to go on these things with FIFA and UEFA. I've seen Joe. I've seen you there before. Yeah? Where you get to meet all the old legends who played football.
Barrow, Nesta.
There's all these players that go on this year, Diego, etc. All these players, right? There's one common denominator between all of them. They all won. They were all winners.
Big trophies.
They were all winners. They all cared about winning. And that's what I want. And I'm scared for Harry Kane that if he don't move, and some of the Tottenham fans will want to shout me down, you can, I don't care. But you got to say, if he leaves, you got to clap him on the back and say thank you for what you've done. But if he doesn't move, I'm scared that he's not going to win nothing. And it's not the place to be. I hear Alan Shearer always saying that he's happy with his move to Newcastle and he was delighted with it. And he doesn't look back with any tinge of dissatisfaction or regret. Alan, I love you, man, but you're lying. I know you are. You are lying. I don't care. You went and played for your boyhood club. I know that, but you haven't. You wanted to win. I saw you.
You want a Blackburn, man. You want a Blackburn.
One league title, Blackburn. Is that enough? It's not. Once you get that feeling, you got to understand.
Mate, we won back-to-back Champions League.
I was like everybody. You win one, it becomes like a drug addicted. You need to win again. To go from winning
6, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I won a few, yeah. But I'm saying if you win it one time, and then to say that's me, I'm gonna go and just chill now in Geordie land and just chill with my boy club, and they're all gonna love me there. That's fine. Nah, you couldn't have sold me that.
You got
Couldn't have sold me that for no amount of money. You could have offered me any money. You're not selling me that.
You know why you got to be
10 years
careful?
at United.
You push him to Man City. You know
Who?
Harry Kane.
Nah. Harry, I want him to. I don't care where he goes. I'd love him to come to Man United. Harry, you know that. I love you. I want you to come to my team. And I think he would suit Man United. But I just think that for him, I just feel that he can't sit there and do that, man.
Agreed.
Harry Kane's a winner, man. You got to win. You got the best players go to the best leagues and win the biggest trophies.
Agreed.
Harry Kane is one of them players in waiting.
Who buys him and who can afford him?
Pardon?
Who can afford him at the moment?
Manchester City, Steve. How many? Bro, I say every week.
They don't spend that sort of cash.
They
Tottenham are going to
don't.
have your ass for him.
I didn't. What's it called? I said it on BT the other day. It got misconstrued a little bit. I didn't say that he's past it. He's past going to the big clubs and stuff like that. But if Mbappe and if Haaland in the market, I think you go for them two before him right now because the age. That's it.
The price will be similar, won't it, for all three, or should be?
Yeah, it'll be similar. I'm sure, or probably a bit more for Mbappe. I'd say, but so that's all I was saying. So I think he's got to strike while the iron's hot, man. You can't sit and wait for these things. He's played in a new stadium. That was the reason why he might have stayed before. Got to go now. I think Harry Kane, he probably suits City better than anyone because he can play that.
Of goals at
He can play that deep. He can play that deep lying line. You don't have to play. You don't just want to play up there. Haaland plays as an out-and-out 9. Harry Kane can drop in and add that extra number and dominate the midfield like Pep wants. But if I'm Man United, Chelsea, City in the Premier League, I snap your hand off for Harry Kane. But like I would for Haaland and I would for Mbappe.
Yeah.
Who's the best number 9 in the world right now?
Lewandowski, no doubt.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw a couple of people saying that it was other people, but I have to say Lewandowski can't be talked to. I think in the last 6 seasons, last 5 seasons, he's bagged 40 plus.
40 plus. Matting. Even for Germany.
Joke. He's an absolute joke.
I hope the Spurs fans don't shoot me down, man. But the man's giving you mad service, but your team ain't winning.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
It's straight.
Does he need to win a league to consider it a success? Does a League Cup, an FA Cup, a Europa League do it?
What are you talking about, Harry Kane?
For an average player, yeah, not winning a trophy, an average player or a player who doesn't get to them heights, it's fine. You can finish your career with no trophies. That's fine. But when you're a Harry Kane, doing what he does week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, you need the platform to win a trophy. And I'm sorry, he's not at the place to win trophies right now. He might win a Carling Cup or a Carabao Cup. That ain't cutting it. I'm sorry.
Or FA Cup. That's as far as it's going to go. That's why the Champions League was so crucial to Steven Gerrard's career. Because if he hadn't won that...
A myth.
Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. Well said.
If you don't win the Champions League, man, it's a different story. It's a different kettle of fish. And listen, there ain't many more certified players than Steven Gerrard. But that was an integral part of his legend, boy. You got to win. You got to win.
It's true. And the way he won. Hype me up still. Guys, we got to wrap it up here. I can't remember what question you asked, Steve, but I'm still pissed off with that England starting 11, but we're going to revisit that soon, man.
You'll see how right I am. But you won't, because he'll never play it. He'll always try and accommodate the names.
Good.
And I think that's the issue. I think you've got to look at what you would be offered. I'm going for a team that can absolutely destroy you on the counter. And I don't actually think Kane suits that. I don't think Sterling suits that.
Sterling don't suit that?
No, not the counter.
Oh my God.
No, you need more possession and you need more chances for him. You need way more chances for him.
You can't tell me that about Sterling.
What, over Rashford and Sancho?
Sterling plays in my England team.
Over Rashford and Sancho?
I don't care who in front of. He plays every game.
Nope, not over
right now. Have you seen? He scored 20 goals the last 5 seasons.
He's had about 4,000 shots for that.
I don't care.
Don't matter.
Because it matters. You ain't getting. Do you think you're getting that many chances against France?
He's intelligent. He can adapt his game. He's intelligent.
Sancho and Rashford over Sterling all day long.
Listen, it's a great argument to have. Look at the talent we're talking about, and you want to play on a defensive. Are you mad?
Yep.
Are you mad?
Because we're going to win.
Where's
We're
Foden?
here to turn up
Where's
and clap
Foden in your
ourselves,
team?
getting
Where's
beat by
Foden?
Croatia
He had
again.
Foden in his team. He had
Where's
Foden.
Foden?
Foden, he's on the bench next to Harry Kane.
Oh my
No,
God.
you
Sterling.
need no. The sunlight's getting to you. The sunlight back behind you's getting to you. Right, that's it, guys. Lovely week again. Please make sure you keep hitting the comments, putting your comments in. We're looking at everything.
Yeah.
Notifications coming through, and make sure, importantly, you subscribe.
Make
I'm
sure.
out.
Steve, you're terrible, man. Same guy that picked Luke Shaw last time and said that he weren't playing well. Nah.
Is
you
he
know
Luke
what?
Shaw's in his team now, isn't it?
It's in my team.
Oh, this
Now.
guy. This guy,
Your
I can't trust you. I can't trust
Listen.
you.
Hang on. I haven't been wrong in what I said about Luke Shaw. I said
Listen.
he's got issues with how he plays. People talk about him being Shawberto Carlos.
I
Relax
say
yourself.
something positive about Shaw, and every time I speak about him, you say, "Yeah, but." Now you want to play him. Now you want to play him.
This England we're talking about. Who else plays instead of him for England? I'll
What, left
put
back?
Cresswell in if you want. Do you want me to put Cresswell in? I'll write it down.
Chilwell can play as well. I'm not saying Shaw don't play. I'm just saying based on the way you speak about him, I'm very surprised he's in your squad, let alone your team.
That's because I have a very down the middle sort of opinion on him, and then people go, he's the greatest left back in Europe, and I have to,
Down the middle.
I have
You
to
do not
sort
have
them
a
down.
down the middle opinion. You do not have a
We
down the
put the
middle.
WhatsApp chat in here. What you said about him in the past. He's over. He's in the hospital on the A&E bed.
You know?
Down the
Come on.
middle.
Right, listen, guys, I've got to go.
You have to defend him
Yeah,
against
we've all
lunatics.
got to go. We're getting kicked off by the producers.
I love you and leave you guys.
Yeah. Get in them comments. Joe, Rio, Steve, we're out. Peace.
Laters.